make sure.
You're like a black hat hacker.
I know.
I need the white hat.
Hey guys, what's up? This is John from Balcony DAO. I am still here at Avalanche Summit, Barcelona. Today we're going to talk a little bit about security. I'm sitting here today with Jane from Hacken. Hacken is a group that audits smart contracts. It's a really interesting organization. It's a group of white hat hackers that come together to make sure that these contracts aren't vulnerable to exploits. And that has sprawling implications on the Web3 ecosystem. And it also, interestingly enough, has implications today in the geopolitical situation we find ourselves in with the Russian-Ukrainian war. So, Jane, welcome to Balcony and Shill. My background, I'm with Balcony DAO. Balcony DAO is a real estate-backed NFT platform. When we sit here and we discuss these projects, I like to try to bring what you're doing into what I'm doing. Our business has about a $2 billion pipeline of assets. And so obviously it's critical that we secure our contracts. And so part of this conversation is me trying to learn from you how we can improve our contracts, reduce our vulnerabilities, and mitigate risk of exploits. So hopefully you can teach me a little bit about what you do, and we can learn a little bit about your organization, which at the moment is operating out of Barcelona, right?
Yeah. Thank you for having me here. Definitely now we are in Barcelona, but originally we're from Ukraine, and we're forced to leave the country because of the situation.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been in Barcelona?
I guess we're here around 1 month already.
A month. So today is the end of March. So you guys
So
got here.
literally we got here one week before the war,
Wow.
because so it started like from this year, and we feel that it's getting risky, and for people mental health, and we decided to move the team here for 2 weeks or something while everything is okay. But in fact, one morning we woke up and understand that it's not going to finish soon, and we need to have some plan how to spend next months or year even before we can back to our country.
How large is your team?
So we're around 65 people.
You need 65 people
Yeah.
from Ukraine
With families.
with their families.
Parents, kids, friends, sister, brothers. That's not easy at all.
How did you do that?
Oh, that was a nightmare, but it's definitely worth it. Today I had a nightmare about that I back to Ukraine during war. It was like, oh my God, I was so lucky to leave the country before.
Yeah.
Because I can't even imagine what people that are still there, what they feel, and how it's going there, and businesses. Because a lot of blockchain projects are built in Ukraine.
Yeah.
It's on the background and no one knows about that. But in fact, I don't know how many developers we have, but like thousands, and all days like outsource for bigger projects. And a lot of crypto businesses is not operating now very well because their developers are still there and they can't leave the country because we have this law that men between 18 and 60, they can't leave the country. So they continue working from some, villages, from some, I don't know where they are, but
That's wild.
It's not getting good.
No, it's not. I mean, we have a really wonderful developer who is in Moldova, and obviously he's concerned. He's 200 kilometers or 100 kilometers from the war, from the border, and he's kind of going back and forth and grabbing people and still working. But it's a miserable situation. I know that your team is actually helping on the OPSEC front. You guys have sort of flipped the switch, and now you have dedicated resources to DDoS attacks against Russian state infrastructure. How did that come about? How are you guys actually doing that? And why are you guys uniquely qualified? I mean, you guys do the inverse for companies in our space, in the Web3 space, and now you guys are sort of doing a kind of white hat, a gray hat mission. What is that like? How did that happen?
So once everything started, and as far as we are on the safe space and we can help our country as far as we can, not with the guns, but still we can donate money and others. So we divided our operations into two ways. One is still doing business, to get revenue and to donate to Ukraine. We have special funds where we help like everyone we know there in Ukraine through different initiatives. And the other part of the team is actively involved in cyber war, and we have several initiatives in that. So within Hacken, so generally Hacken is a cybersecurity company which helps Web3 companies to be safe. But as far as we from Ukraine, the main team, we can't just be away from that. And we have several initiatives. Before we have like a Disbalancer app, which is DDoS for fake crypto websites. And once everything started, we just requalified that to fight with Russian propaganda. And during all this time, it was like around 6,000 users who are actively participating all over the world. And it's not easy because this application is getting attacked from like Russian hackers, of course, and they're trying to make fake versions of this application and spreading it all over. So it's like a fight in two ways. It's interesting. Russian hackers are trying to get like hack us, of course, and there's like a lot of stuff going on in the background.
So this is fascinating. So you guys built this Disbalancer website, and the way that it works is it simulates DDoS attacks against fake crypto organizations. So you did this to model the security of these crypto projects. So, for example, if Balcony DAO wanted to make sure that our application was safe, we would hire you. You would build a fake Balcony DAO website, and then you would model the attacks of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of users attacking our network to deny service.
I got it. So definitely can be used in different ways, as it is just like computer power. It could be either used, for example, if someone creates the fake application, like fake website before you're launching, like in crypto, it's okay just to make fake ads, fake Twitter, fake Telegrams, whatever, and fake websites where they have just different address where you're like gathering money. And in fact, this application can be used to shut down that website, fake one, in order users to go only to the original one and invest money to the original one. That's the first case. And the second case, it's to do the stress test before you're launching. So in order for you to be sure that once you launch and all users are coming to your website, you would be still operating. So it's different cases that can be used with this machine power. But now all this is for stopping Russian propaganda.
Okay. So let's go to the first one for a second. Right. The first situation is somebody is taking balconydao.com and they go and they get balconydao.co. They make this fake website. It's identical to my website. It's a Balcony DAO's website. People go there. They think that they're interacting with a smart contract that Balcony DAO made, but it's not. This is a nefarious contract. And your technology identifies that this is not an authenticated contract from Balcony DAO. And what does it do? It DDoSes it to shut it down?
To make sure it's shut down. So definitely it can be done in different ways. You can go to the hosting provider, to their domain provider and do different stuff. But usually it's the question of hours when you're gathering money and you don't have that much time. And their support can reply you in 3 days or like in a week, and it doesn't work.
By the time the hosting provider gets to your account and looks at it, you've already had the attack take place. You've been exploited.
It doesn't matter for you in the next day because usually it's really short period of time when you need that.
Exactly. You guys are like the T cells in like the immune system of a body. You like go and find the foreign pathogen and attack it and like kill it.
Actually, cybersecurity and health is kind of,
very similar. That's why I'm making the analogy. It's like you guys are in this organic way. You guys are organizing these like helper cells that go out, attack these pathogens, these bad cells, and keep the entire organism healthy, as it were.
That's true.
Which is really cool. I would say that is biology shill. Just showing a little biology. So, all right. So you built this thing. You then said, okay, the highest and best use of this application at this exact moment, especially as Ukrainian nationals who are forced out of your own country, which I'm sorry. It's not my fault, but I feel terrible. I really do. It's just so disconcerting. So you go and you take this technology and you just decide, I'm going to redeploy this against Russia. You then find 6,000 machines across the world where people contribute their computing power, which is basically just building a node on their computer to run this application. And now this application is going after targeted Russian state assets, right? So now you're doing the work that you prevent other people from doing to your clients. Are you being successful at it?
I guess so, because all Ukrainian IT guys now like just united and helping country everyone as they can, and this application is like installed all over the world, and we don't even know all of one obviously, but they are helping as they can, because in first days like everyone just, oh my god, how I can help, I'm in safe space, I have computer, what can I do? And the easiest way is just, to stop what they're spreading, because it's like nonsense what's going on there.
So you guys are targeting the propaganda sites. That's what you
Yes.
guys want.
Yeah.
You're not like going after, like the Kremlin. You're going after the...
Stop propaganda.
Right. So you identify websites that are pushing out false narratives. Who identifies those?
So we have like research team, and not only we. Ukraine now has an official cyber army. I don't know how many people there, but like 100,000 people.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yes. It's, like all cyber war is coordinated via Telegram, honestly, on both sides.
Wait, all the cyber war is happening in Telegram? Is that
No, it's coordinating.
It's coordinated inside of Telegram? It's just... So you guys are running a cyber war the same way we are picking restaurants to go out to tonight in Barcelona.
And get updates regarding new project, new price, like not only we, and but yeah, of course we use better, like more safe messengers.
Right.
But
Signal.
For example, but for the crowd, they have like, it's easy to get to another Telegram group and see the resources that are like spreading propaganda,
Right.
and do something with that.
And I gotta imagine if you're on an insecure program like Telegram, which, let's be honest, is pretty insecure. Like it ain't Signal.
We receive more and more confirmations of that during all this time.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that like all of the Russian propagandists are jumping into your Signal, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? Ukraine is a real terrible place, am I right?" I mean, like I gotta imagine they're just like going in there and they're seeding more propaganda inside of your anti-propaganda groups. So how do you stop that?
Yeah, it's like you're just following all this and trying to block at the proper time what's going on.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like insane amount of people. I don't know, but for Telegram group to get 500,000 people in a week.
Wow.
Like everyone wants to help, like all over the world. When everyone wants to help with it, like against one country, this one country and their citizens are just like, oh my God, what's going on?
Right.
We're just helping Ukraine.
Right. That's wild.
You know what? I had interesting information yesterday that Russian soldiers on Tinder and trying to find Ukrainian women to date.
Because they want to date them, or because they want to...
I don't know.
Red pill them.
I don't know, but...
I mean, look, my personal perspective, I've been saying this on Twitter since before, the war really started to heat up. Like day one, I was like, these guys just need a couple ETH, trade in your tanks. Like, let's use money for its highest and best use. Let's just buy peace with it. Like, what the hell else are we doing with it, right? Like, I think we could literally buy the entire Russian military for, I don't know, $350 million. Like, I'm serious. Like, I think the whole military, I'd just be like, guys, listen, I'll give you a visa to any country you want in Europe. Like,
please stop this. Yeah.
They don't want this. They don't want this. I think that they want like a really good dinner in Ukraine, one good night out at the club, bottle service, couple ETH, you're done. Like, war's over. Like, we can finish this right now. Problem solving, Shill. Problem solving, Shill. Finish it. Like I don't understand why. Like, we should just pay all of them. I want to run the hotline. I want to run the Russian soldiers tanks for ETH hotline, right? Just like, call up Uncle Johnny. I'm like, I'll do your deal. I'll just get you, just roll your tank into the Walmart in Kiev. We'll give you 2 ETH, bottle of vodka, jump right back on Tinder. You can go out tonight and party. Over. War's ended. Like, that's my view on it. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah.
So you've got this thing set up. You're doing all this work. What else are you guys working on right now that is not war related? I know you guys have a exchange sort of audit program that you guys have out, which I find really interesting. You guys went in and I think, did you tell me that you guys audited 1,500 different exchanges?
50.
50.
Yeah.
50 exchanges.
I guess there is no thus many exchanges
Yeah,
in the world.
I was
No,
like,
no.
man, there's more exchanges than I
No.
thought.
Yeah, well, let me briefly tell you what we are doing, like accept what is happening right now. So we're on the market for the 5th year, and what we do, we are helping like crypto exchanges, crypto wallets, launchpads, DeFi projects, protocols
Yep.
to find vulnerabilities ahead of time.
Right.
And we do this in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So one is just like a consulting company, we do everything with our internal team.
Yep.
And the second way, we do this through crowdsourced model,
Mm-hmm.
which we have like bug bounty platform,
Mm-hmm.
where we have around 9,000 hackers all over the world, like around 120 countries.
Yep.
And they find vulnerabilities as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of layer approach to find vulnerabilities in different projects.
Let's back up. Let's tell people a little bit, because some people I just don't think they really understand what the white
Okay.
hat hacker space is like, the ethical hacking space, which I know you're a certified ethical hacker. Maybe you could explain to people what that is, because I don't think a lot of people understand this.
Okay. Yeah, generally my background is in cybersecurity. I have master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And also one of the certifications I have is like certified ethical hacker,
Mm-hmm.
which in fact proves that you pass the course and you have technical abilities to find vulnerabilities, to like prevent hacks and all this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in fact, I have enough knowledge to do that
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
practice.
Absolutely. So you have this knowledge. You are an ethical hacker, and the distinction here is obviously that your goal is to make these projects more secure. That's always been your goal. That's what you went to school for. That's what you studied.
Yeah.
That's what your business does. And then there's this other sort of black hat or nefarious type of hacker model, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And these are just people who are looking for these exploits to suck money, like the wormhole exploit, which was $350 million. So the bug bounty, which is the reward that's given to hackers for finding these exploits, is set. So there's a dollar amount that is set. Someone says, okay, this is the correct amount of money to pay somebody for identifying these bugs. Who sets the bug bounty?
That's a good question. Every time is subjective, but there is some market prices, I would say, in market rules that can be used for rewarding hackers. In a nutshell, how that works, so there is classification of vulnerabilities and the impact of this. So it could be some low level of vulnerability that is nice to fix, but there is no like significant impact. But on the other hand, it could be like critical vulnerability that, for example, I don't know, the hacker can get access to all the database of users, of their KYC, passwords, like whatever, keys. And it's critical vulnerability and a significant business impact. So these vulnerabilities varies by severity.
Yep.
Severity is defined by like some well-known standards in the industry, and you just set the ranges of payout that you want to pay for hackers to say thank you for like detecting this bug. It could vary, like there is different thoughts on the industry regarding that, but it's around like 10% of the potential like impact.
Right. So for example, the wormhole exploit, $350 million, it should have had a $35 million bug bounty in advance of that exploit. And had it had that, presumably a hacker or a group of hackers would have been like, 35 million bucks.
Legally.
Legally, I think I would like to have $35 million, right?
Legally, and be sure that tomorrow no one will knock your door and you are in the jail.
Right. Instead of going to jail, you go to Ibiza and just party for a weekend and blow 35 million bucks. Much better.
You know, the problem is with all this, so definitely like white hat hackers, black hat hackers, and gray hat hackers, which is not sure where they are.
Yeah.
But in fact, you can hack something, you can steal this money, but it's a problem to use it, actually.
Right.
Because nowadays, if like 3 years ago it was okay, you know, there were like ways how to do that, but every day it's getting more difficult to do that because, for example, you can't go just to exchange and withdraw it like or change to something because exchange is already blocking all these addresses.
Right.
So they have blacklist and all these
Right.
blacklists are synchronized within the industry.
Right, because they're on the chain.
Yes, and because there is different initiatives and there is like alliances of exchanges and they like share all this information immediately to block that. And of course there is mixers and other stuff but how you can do that, but you can't like do this for millions of dollars. It's easy. It's not easy at all, and that's why sometimes, like most times, it's more financially and legally just easier to get your 10%.
Right.
and be like and do just good job, because ethical hackers and security researchers, what's the difference? Because they are building their reputation for years.
Yep.
They don't want to make this step
Right.
like
In the wrong direction, because they cut off
yes.
their career forever.
Yes,
And there's no place to hide, like to your point. Can we just put a pin right there and just underscore this? Because this has been the topic of conversation in the United States, particularly with very well-meaning senators. Elizabeth Warren, I'm talking to you. Senator Warren, please listen to this. Can you explain to Senator Warren and the entire sort of regulatory body in the United States why you can't just steal money and then have a wallet address, or embezzle money, move money around illegally in a wallet address, and think that you can just like spend millions of dollars with impunity? Because people don't really understand this. They think that we're dealing with like hidden hacker money. It's like, it's in some real dark place and you can do whatever you want with it. Can you just explain for a second, as a professional, why that's ridiculous?
So definitely, first, we're on blockchain and everything can be tracked easily. And even where we have this case when after 5 years they found who stole this money, and just this guy went to jail. And it's not easy to just, I don't know, exchange to euros or dollars or whatever, cash out and disappear. It's a ridiculous amount of money. There is some regulation for exchanges. They block these addresses, and everything is super trackable principle. So you can just do that.
Yeah, there's a narrative in the United States that like all of the cartels have shifted from cash to the blockchain to do their giant heroin deals, and like this is actually something that intelligent people repeat, and I have no idea how this stupid idea became like built into the narrative of crypto. But there's people who actually think that if you're going to move up, $100 million of heroin, you'd be like, can you do me a favor and put that on the blockchain? I just want to make sure it's there so that my accountant and the entire world and regulatory bodies can approve this. Like, I just don't understand where people got this idea. But I think it's important to disabuse them of that. It's a double-edged sword too, though, right? Because it's all on the blockchain, right? It's there, it's transparent, but also these contracts are on the blockchain, right? Which is why your work is so important, because the apparatus that's used to make these transactions are made publicly available
for everyone,
so that consumers can say, okay, Jane isn't going to steal my money. The send to address for this wallet isn't like, her bank account in the British Virgin Islands. It's going into this Gnosis wallet. I understand this is part of this DAO. I can observe where the money is going. But the problem is, if you're a nefarious organization or a black hat hacker, you can go and look at those exact same contracts and say, that's where I steal the money, right? And so it's a double-edged sword in our business. And your service obviously exists to make sure that those contracts are correct. You audit them. You make sure that the vulnerabilities aren't there. What does it cost, right? Because we talked about what the bug bounty would be. You pay 10% for a bug bounty. What does it cost for your organization to go in and take Balcony DAO's contracts and say, okay, you're going to make this 20 million, 50 million, $300 million transaction. Is it safe? I have you audit it. What do you charge Balcony DAO?
Okay. Just want to say that why I like crypto, because it's transparent. You can see everything. It's like public ledger where you track every transaction, or either like smart contracts where you can read the code of that. Because in traditional security, it's insane that everything is outsourced, open source, and as for like cost, it will vary definitely on what you're building, what's the scope, what the like functionality, how difficult it is. But it can vary from like 10K to 100K based on the scope. And definitely it's not enough to do just one audit, because you definitely have the complex system. It's not only one smart contract or smart contracts, because you definitely have a website, mobile application, infrastructure. I know you have organizational security, you have employees, and definitely all these questions should be addressed in the complex manner, and that's why it will vary.
So let's talk about that. So the other thing is, people think about the auditing of the smart contract as simply the point where money moves from one party to another, right? The first thing is, people think that exchange is like a switch where it's like, I have $100 million. Doop, you have my $100 million. And And what they don't realize is it's more like a Web2 framework where it's like, I have $100 million. It goes up into, into a server, which is the blockchain. It's executed, it transfers ownership, and it comes down. So there's this process,
Yeah.
and it's this part over here where the vulnerabilities happen, right? It's in that liminal space in between the movement of those funds. But then there's also, to your point, the entire organization, every single human and every single device and every single application and every piece of software are themselves a nexus of risk that have to be independently audited, but then audited in the aggregate so that you know that the entire system is safe and not vulnerable, right? So how do you attack that from Hacken's perspective? Do you have sort of like subject matter experts for the mobile app and a subject matter expert for just the smart contract and a subject matter expert for like the organizational chart? Like how do you guys manage this?
Yeah, definitely. So our difference is that we are trying to address problem complexly, and that definitely we have different experts for different type of assets. For example, we have like team for Solidity audits, we have team for Rust audits, we have team for mobile security, for web security, for the app security, like for operational security. So that's like different teams, different set of skills and experience that's needed to help projects to address these questions.
So if I want to make the most secure network or tool ecosystem, I mean, like I no longer think of products or a company. I now just think of these things as like almost like nodes, almost like how you guys are building your DDoS system against the Russian state actors. I just think of these as this sort of like complex organism, right? And I'm just figuring out how do you make it most secure. And I think my approach, is I think we at Balcony want to build the simplest organization that we possibly can. As few nodes, as few points of vulnerability as possible. Is that the right thinking? Like if you had to design Balcony DAO to be the most secure network or product, how would you do it?
So definitely security first mindset is a good start. And while you're building that, you already think about security and program that. Definitely it could be done in different levels. Let's start, for example, from organizational one, from personal security, for like, passwords, 2FAs, like anti-phishing stuff, antivirus, locking computers and all that. And also awareness what can happen, because in crypto a lot of investigations that we've done is about just someone download fake proposal for listing or fake offer, and that's all. That's the first layer. The second layer,
so just malware,
phishing, yeah.
Phishing, okay. And most of those phishing exploits are really just getting people seed phrase for the most part, right?
Yeah, depends of the target, but yeah, just getting money, just getting their access to like exchanges or like wallets, and just. And
but it's low level, right? I mean, I think like people think that these like black hat hackers are like these like gigabrain geniuses that are like rebuilding your computer.
Yeah.
And it's usually just
science.
Like, hey Jane, it's John over at Hacken. Can you give me that password? And you're like, sure, John. Don't remember ever meeting you, but here it is. Like, and that's usually like exploit number one. And I think, what percentage of exploits do you think are really just that?
The major of them, I guess.
Right.
Because there is no rocket science, and there is really entry level. You don't need to have something really difficult for that. But for major attacks like smart contracts, web applications, you need some set of knowledge for that.
Right. But you could have like, some teenagers can handle most of the attacks that people think are some complicated attack, which is, I think, another like hilarious detail. It's like the public perception of crypto is that it's insecure. It's literally cryptographically secure. That's not the problem. The problem isn't the code. The problem isn't Web3. The problem is that people are idiots.
Yeah.
And we're
every time insecurity.
It's just, and we're just reckless, and we don't have protocols. Right. So I guess like the first thing that Balcony DAO or anybody at home, like if you're building anything, have protocols. Like have a protocol in place for whom you interact with. If you're downloading files, is that on your laptop? Is it on your phone? Is it on the same laptop or phone where you have a MetaMask wallet where you have all the tokens for your organization sitting on them? Like you were telling me that like you met a guy who had a backpack full of like his whole business was in his backpack. Like what kind of
With the password nearby this business.
Right. So he put his seed phrase in a folder, physical like Manila folder that you could
Near
like
the
leave
ledger.
at the bathroom in a ledger, right? And he put it next to his like laptop that has all of his data on it. He basically like tied it up in a package, and he was just like, "You're not gonna steal this, right?" And then just like handed it to the world. I mean, like horrible protocols. Do you guys have like a basic protocol, like one sheet that you give organizations? Like, here's how to not be an idiot in the world. Forget about crypto. Like, this is how you secure yourself.
Yeah, we have like general education materials on our website, starting like to explain why it's important, because it's easy, you know. Even yesterday I was at a conference in the hackathon area, and just nobody blocking their computers. Right. I'm pretty sure there are like a lot of telegrams, there are emails, open exchanges, open wallets, and they just, I don't know, probably that's the level of trust they have, right. But not in this environment where it's like a lot of risks.
Yep.
And especially when you're holding like tokens of your investors.
Yeah.
Like blocking computer is just like 2 buttons.
What 2 buttons block your computer?
Windows lock. Or like, yeah, on the Mac, another one.
So here's another thing that happens a lot. We were at a crypto conference and somebody set up a Wi-Fi. Yeah. And they just put the Wi-Fi password up, and everybody walks in, and you know they're coming from all around the world, and they're like you know, the Wi-Fi network is get robbed, and the password is you got wrecked, and they're like, yep, I got wrecked, perfect, and then they go about their business, and then they just get it all sucked out.
It's like good story, but it doesn't work like this, honestly.
How does it work?
Yeah, I guess like in the modern protocols of encryption of their connection, it's okay. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely not like that. Of course, there is like different network attacks that can help, you know, make a fake website, get your password from exchange or something. Mm-hmm. But it's not like when you enter the password of Wi-Fi, you are wrecked. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I think these guys, what they were doing, I think they're like, you know, they put up like a fake login to your own phone, like your iPhone login or something like that, and then people threw in their login for their phone, like as if they're downloading an app.
Yeah, so definitely there could be different vectors how that would work, but definitely once you're connected to the network, you're not hacked.
Right.
But then if there is like some malicious servers that emulate some other websites, some exchanges, for example, wallets, it could be.
Right.
But it's not like that.
Yeah, another one that they do is, you know, like, so they'll have an event and they'll be like, oh, you know, you've got to pay for your ticket or something. Mm-hmm. Right? And so you log into the website, and then it takes you to the conference website, which is not the conference website. And then there's like a fake event on the conference website, and it's like, connect your wallet and pay for it. And it's like that contract, which is another thing that we should discuss. What is up with these contracts that aren't explicit? It's like we're just like signing contracts all over the internet, and there's not an explicit contract. Shouldn't all of those contracts, A, be explicit? You could kind of like review them like in terms of service. Right, but B, shouldn't companies like Hacken give it a blue check? Like these are audited contracts. Did I just give you a business idea? Did I just give you a business idea? Biz dev Shill. They should, right? Like if I'm going to interact with the contract, it would be nice if there was like a little check mark there. It's like, oh, these people have done the minimum, work to make sure that I'm not interacting with a malicious contract.
Yeah, it could be. So you mean like kind of verification of legal contracts or smart contracts?
Smart. Forget the legal contracts.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's a whole other, complicated, multinational, 220 country ordeal. But like the smart contracts, our world lives in one world, which is the metaverse, where there is kind of one set of laws, and it's the smart contract laws, which is this idea of like code is law, which is kind of a crappy idea in some ways, great in others. But yes, if you guys audit these smart contracts and you're like, okay, none of these have exploits, and when you go to interact with it and sign that contract, I at least know that it's not a contract that's going to suck all the money out of my wallet. Like, why isn't there like a blue check mark on that? Like, I don't need a blue check mark on somebody on Twitter. Like, I don't care that they're verified by Twitter. Like, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
But if Hacken gave me a blue check mark so I know that the smart contract is verified, that would give me a lot of comfort.
Yeah, let me tell you about this comfort and certified a bit. So there is different initiatives on the market on the different levels. For For example, in Etherscan, you can have this verified contracts first, and also you can see the audits. So they have the field for audits at least.
Yep.
Also, what you have on CoinGecko, for example, they have security tab for each project, where you can see what this project's done for security. So smart contracts, audit, insurance, bug bounty, and some other reviews. So it's at least something where you can just rely on. And also what they have, what else? We, like when we do audits, we also do this kind of badge that's like audited by Hacken that projects use on their website to provide to their users some assurance that it's okay. For example, like in traditional like Web2 and bank stuff, when you like put in your credentials to pay for something, they have something like checked by or verified by or trusted by. So it's kind of this mark that you are fine that this is secure form to put your credential in. Something like this is more already adopted in crypto, and it's getting more popular because definitely people need assurance that it's okay, because so many scams and hacks, and you never know what's behind that. And you as not technical user just want to invest money in something, and you need some level of, like insurance that everything could be okay.
See, the problem is like most people aren't going to go to Etherscan. Most people don't even know how to use Etherscan. And so having all of that data off transaction someplace else is not useful. That needs to live in MetaMask. And that has to be as simple as like, when you buy a computer and it says a sticker and it says Intel inside, you're like, that's an Intel chip, right? There needs to just be a little sticker on there when you go to sign your MetaMask contract. This is not a black hat exploit. Hacken is giving you a little check mark. Great. Therefore, you don't have to be a technical person. You don't have to go to Etherscan. You don't have to look at the audit logs for it. It's there. The same way on the internet in Web 2, you have an SSL certificate, and if the SSL certificate isn't there, you go to the website, which I have a website right now that I need to put an SSL certificate on now. Got to remember to do that. But you go to that website, it's like it's not secure. It's like if you want to go to this website, knock yourself out, but you may not come back, buddy. There should be that basic level of explicit security inside of these smart contracts, which you guys should probably do.
Yeah, probably we should think about mass adoption on that rather than just some projects on the project level, probably for the user level. Yeah.
I mean, I think there needs to be a global adoption of these things.
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be you guys. It's going to be
of course.
30 other, companies that are your competitors, but there's so many of these smart contracts, it just doesn't matter.
Like really, I was just talking about that yesterday, that around 3 auditing firms on the market. With different level of quality, and just imagine the amount of projects that need audit. It's like
it's stupid. Like there needs to be more people in this side of the space.
Yes, of course, we need more people definitely, and it's not an easy task to get it.
No, listen, it's not easy to get devs anywhere.
Devs and security engineers in crypto
are like 1% of the entire dev market.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take a moment here to human resources Shill.
Human resources Shill.
We need devs. Everybody needs devs. But Balcony DAO could use some devs. And if you are in the OPSEC space and you'd like to do some white hat hacking and auditing, apparently they need devs as well.
Yeah, for sure. We need devs and security engineers, ethical hackers, and a lot of guys, because that's a huge problem actually, to get really good stuff. Like what we do, we just educate newcomers.
Yep.
No way.
Yep. So what do you think was the largest bug bounty you've seen? Just to get a sense for, first of all, do you know anybody who's taken down a bug bounty?
Like in crypto or what?
Yeah. Are there people in your organization who have actually won bug bounties and been paid out on them?
Hackers in our company.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And how much money do they typically get for these bounties?
Yeah, so I would want to notice the difference between Web 2 bug bounty and Web 3 bug bounty. So if in Web 2 the maximum reward was around 100K for something, or I don't remember, for some large organization, and it was super big bounty.
Yeah.
For crypto, it could be $3 million.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like Facebook or something. Like it was like a major. I remember this, and they were like, "Oh my God, you saved our like 2 billion user database. Like here's a ham and cheese sandwich and a high five. Like good job, buddy." Right? And in crypto, it's like any contract you find, you're rich. Like it's
Yeah.
done, and most of these people can just like retire on it,
That's true.
which is kind of fun.
Yeah, but but in like traditional security, you would get like I don't know, hundreds of dollars, like
Thousands.
thousands of dollars for really difficult exploits that you need
Yep.
to do like 1 year research or something.
Right.
And in crypto, you can get this in a week.
Yeah.
for like smart contracts vulnerabilities. If you're good at that, you can easily get this.
Yeah.
Just imagine like all this, how many companies already doing bug bounties, and it's pretty cool because when we started 5 years ago, there were like, I don't know, in crypto, 10 bug bounties or something,
Yeah.
and now like I know 100 for sure.
Wow.
And it's pretty cool because the like payouts are really great, and it really you can get this your 10-year salary actually in some time. Yeah. But you need to, of course, you need to have background on that, and
Right.
you need to do like a huge job like to get there.
Yep.
But still,
and also you're not dealing with like like the Web2 bug bounties. You had to go figure out a way to access the database. You had to figure out a way to get onto the server. You had to exploit individuals in HR to get certain access, and then daisy chain that access over the course of weeks and months to finally get to the point where you could be root on the server, access the graph, and then use that data to then go out and exploit it. Big problem. But in the Web3 space, it's like you just have to access the publicly available blockchain.
Source code.
It's right there. Like you have the source code. They give you the blueprint. It's like, this is where the bank vault is. You know everything but the code. Like you just have to figure out how to turn the dial,
Yeah.
and then you make all this crazy money, which is wild.
yeah. And what's interesting about that in Web2, usually they have pretty good development processes. It's planned, it's like really tested well. But in crypto, everything you need to do for yesterday, and of course in this rush you can easily miss something.
Yep.
And that's why this code is available. It's done in rush, and there is like really few good developers that can do that.
Yep.
Really few security engineers that can test that.
Yep.
So in fact, that sounds like easier. You just need to invest time in knowledge about Web3 security and blockchain security today in order to get, another million tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, I might do that this weekend.
Why not?
I gotta.
Don't waste time.
I'm not. I mean, I got a train ride that I have to get on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just hack a little bit and,
Yeah, of course.
and make a couple bucks. That might be what I do.
Yeah, a lot of materials on YouTube. Just go check it.
Listen, everything I know in the world,
Is
I
on
learned on YouTube. I swear to God, I've learned everything in the world on YouTube. That is the greatest university that ever existed.
That's true. Open source, like free,
Open
accessible
source,
to everyone.
accessible to everyone. Web2 Media Shill.
Web2 Media Shill.
Yeah, YouTube is great. I mean, honestly, that's where you get the stuff.
Yeah,
Is there a DAO for bounties?
not yet.
You want to do it?
I don't want to do DAO just for DAO. I just want to have this real idea behind.
I mean, I want to do a DAO called DAO just for DAO now.
Why not? If you want this, just go for it.
It's just a DAO about DAOing. It's
of
like
course.
it's a DAOist DAO for DAOers. That's what I would do. No, but seriously, like the reason why there should be a DAO for the bug bounty is twofold. One, because when these contracts come to market, there's such a short period of testing, and they're often so vulnerable because people just go to Open Zeppelin, they grab a contract, and they're like, I'm just going to change a couple of this. And then all of a sudden, they don't realize, like, yeah, you can't, you've made something incredibly vulnerable there. Like, the short duration means that it's unlikely that somebody who wants the bug bounty can get it before the black hat hackers exploit it first, because also the black hat experts are typically working in groups, and so they're able to do this more efficiently. The inverse of that would be a DAO, where you have a coordinated group of people who participate and earn a piece of the bounty, but they're just constantly working on bounties, and they can move much, much, much more quickly. And something that does often happen is sometimes there's a bug bounty, maybe it will get paid, maybe it won't, maybe they dispute it. But if it's a smart contract in a DAO, then okay, we're going to get paid on this. We can actually dedicate time to this because the smart contract is going to pay me, unless the smart contract is also trash.
I see you generating ideas like that, so super cool.
Yeah, I'm an idea generator kind of
I
dude.
see.
But I really think that should be a thing, because there's not enough security in the space. There's not enough people involved in it, and this is a great way to kind of bring lots of people into the space. is we could make the DAO.
Yeah, security DAO.
Security
Yeah,
DAO.
definitely.
Yeah, I think.
Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, I think we should probably do it. I mean,
Yeah, what's your plan for the evening?
well, I told you I was going to do this tomorrow on the
Okay,
train. So
okay, cool.
I've got about 4 hours, excluding bathroom breaks and hits and trips to the
Okay,
bar.
okay.
Probably leaves me an extra hour and a half after I finish putting this whole thing together to hang out and drink.
Yeah, can you just go through some basic materials and then we can schedule a call?
I don't really want to plan so much. I really just kind of want to do this thing.
Okay.
So before I forget, you mentioned before that all these people are putting their computers to work for these coordinated attacks against Russia. You didn't tell people how they could help with this, and that might be really intelligent. To just maybe you just want to tell people where to go if they want to help out with this effort, this hacker army that's being built for Ukraine.
Yeah, definitely. They can just go to Hacken website and check everything that we have there regarding different ways how to help, because we don't have only that. We also involve hackers which donate exploits that can help Ukraine. So.
Oh, that's interesting. So okay, so somebody knows of an exploit. Maybe they are an employee in a Russian propaganda organization, and maybe they know it's propaganda, and maybe they find that unethical, and they can then go and anonymously contribute an exploit and be like, hey, Hacken, just so you know,
I heard about exploits.
I heard about an exploit. Word on the street is Putin keeps all of his money in this address, and this is the seed phrase. Like, and they could just donate that to you guys, and you guys give them a ham and cheese sandwich, a high five, thank them very much, rip apart the exploit, and go to town, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and they could do that anonymously.
Yeah.
Okay, and have you received any of these anonymous?
Of course, we received around 1,000 reports, I guess.
You received one. The thing I love most about Russia is how little so many people love Russia in Russia. Like, they're not pleased with this. They don't. This is not a popular war, I don't think, in Russia. Like 1,000 people went to Hacken.io and were like, "This is how you take down Russia." Absurd. I mean, did you ever think that there would be that kind of a response?
Of course, no. And it's not about only Russian citizens. It's about like hackers all over the world. We receive so many vulnerabilities from every corner of the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, we have two programs. One is to protect Ukraine. Other is like stop propaganda. And we receive hundreds of reports.
Wow.
It's even difficult to, validate all of that. But definitely this help from hacker community is really appreciated. Because you can't do this just with one small group of hackers, because the scale is so big. And, there is so many creative ideas how to, to let people know what's going on in real life. Because probably you heard about anonymous that just hack TV or radio, where they show Ukrainian...
Yeah, they
Ukrainian
put on the Russian television network the actual real-world news, not the propaganda news.
Yes.
What organization did that? Was it
It's
you?
like anonymous, of course.
Right.
Nobody knows who's behind it.
Right. So how the hell did they do that?
They just know some guys and some techniques.
And
probably someone donate exploits, you never know.
And it's probably like a low-level mechanical exploit, like a carbon exploit.
It's really difficult. It's not that low level, it's low level in terms of engineering.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but high level in terms of...
Right, somebody at a high level in an organization basically gives you a password.
Or you know some exploits that hasn't been reported, like nowhere yet.
Right. And so they go on, they put the actual news on. I wonder what it must be like to be in Russia and you're hearing about, about how Ukraine is attacking you at the border and we have to go there to defend ourselves and extricate Russian nationals that are living under a neo-Nazi regime in eastern Ukraine. And then one day you turn on the TV and there's like some Ukrainian dude is like, hey guys, it's all bullshit. I mean, that must be wild.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure that Russian citizens hear that for ages, not for first week or something.
Yeah.
This propaganda for years, for 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
So we even saw the cartoons they show to children in schools, and it's propaganda from like early ages.
Is the Smurfs a communist propaganda cartoon? Are you familiar with Smurfs?
Yes.
Is Papa Smurf Karl Marx?
Yeah, I don't know.
Gargamel a Jewish, Zionist, democratic state? I'm just asking because it's been posed before.
I haven't heard about that, but
Well, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to hack the Smurfs. Okay? Put a bounty out. Let's figure out what's going on over there. And maybe we change it a little bit. Maybe Papa Smurf doesn't wear a red hat. Maybe he wears a blue and yellow hat. What do you think about that? That might be a way forward.
yeah, do you know like that there's like blue and red teams in security?
Yes.
So
Yeah, it's like Color Wars.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's like day camp for kids in America.
yeah,
You get the blue and red teams, and they go out and see who can actually
yeah, yeah.
steal the bounty or whatever.
Yeah,
Find the
yeah.
expert.
So in fact, yeah, this propaganda is for a long time, and you can change that easily. But we're doing everything possible to stop that.
So what? I mean, I know this is not what Hacken does, but what is the worst actor that you've seen in the Russian propaganda front that you guys have been able to take down?
I'd better not comment on that.
Yeah. Are they coming after you? I mean, like, I would imagine, like, you're a public figure in the space organizing attacks against the state. Like, I gotta think Russians are coming after you. Are we safe?
Honestly, like a couple of weeks before the war, our team was attacked. They were trying to do that
Yeah.
for like all our major team members. So of course we are on the radars.
So what do? They send like phishing emails or something?
Yeah,
like
all
that?
this. They tried a lot of different techniques.
Right. Do they try to intimidate you?
Yeah.
Really?
So they do what they can.
They threaten your life?
Luckily, no.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's like they're bombing the hell out of your country. So it's like, what are they going to say to you that's going to scare you at that point? Like they're dropping bombs on.
Yeah,
On your
on the cities, on the streets where we live. So.
Right. So it's like, you can't intimidate people in
Yeah.
that situation. Frankly, that's where people don't understand. It's like you can't win that. You can't win that power dynamic against people that you're subjugating in that way.
We are in 2022 and we have bombs in our houses.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, this is legitimately the most frustrating, like disenchanting. Like it just makes me dissatisfied all day, every day. I'm just so annoyed by this.
Yeah, you know, especially when we're building Web3, making technology and all
Right.
that, they just come back 100 years ago and
Right. Right.
just...
Right. On this side, we've got quadratic voting. On this side, we have a payload getting dropped on schools. You know, it's like, what the hell are we doing? It's just insane to me. It's utterly insane.
Yeah, it's insane to the whole world.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to move past this for a second because I'm starting to get annoyed. I'm just getting, like, starting to boil over some more. So bring this back to Hacken and bring this back to Balcony, right? So we're going to have these smart contracts. We're going to obviously need help with them. We're going to want these audited. We're certainly going to reach out to you guys to help us with those audits. But I think that a more proactive approach, you know, before you get to the point of auditing a contract, before you put the contract out, I really think that the first piece of consultation that you guys provide that is, I think, almost more valuable is setting up the security first protocols before you start designing the network that is your product or your company, your DAO, whatever you may be building, from time zero, you know? And so I would like to talk to you guys about that service. I would like for you guys to, you know, give us some of those best practices and those protocols today. We have 4 founders, right? And so again, going back to how I view the world, it's like if you have 1 founder, you have a more secure network. If you have 2 founders, you have a half as secure network. You have 4 founders, you know, we are a quarter less secure than we should be because we have multiple vectors on these nodes that we can be attacked on. So the question becomes like, how do we secure the communications of the founders? How do we then secure the communications of the founders with investors? How do we secure the communications between founders, investors, and staff? Then we have founders, investors, staff, outside contractors, right? Then we have the actual clients who are interacting with our smart contracts. And then we have the swaps, the bridges, the protocols, exchanges, and so forth. So what I would love to do is map out the entire ecosystem, understand what all those vectors of attack could be, and then build those protocols and then disseminate that data to our organization so that, you know, when somebody eventually is on their first day of work at Balcony DAO and they get an email that's like, hola, I am writing you about your password. This is the help desk. It's very easy to exploit these people. I want to make sure those best practices are codified and they're put in place. I don't know if you guys build a tool for this. It's like an HR operational like tool, but I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. So definitely in security, you have a lot of areas, and like Hacken is focused on application security and offensive security. All these organizational aspects are really important, and it's done by someone else we can recommend. But our core focus and expertise in like offensive security. So we find vulnerabilities and we help you to fix them. That's all.
Right. That's your whole.
Yeah, and definitely, like you mentioned, so you have different assets in your ecosystem, like communications, processes, whatever, and you should do threat modeling for that and understand which risks are associated with every of that, and then mitigate that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're starting to get into that now because obviously, first of all, we're fully doxxed, so my whole team, it's us. We can't hide. If we are negligent with other people's money, we feel rightly so, and I think everybody ought to feel that we have a fiduciary obligation to whomever's buying our tokens and interacting with our contracts. They should know that we put the work, the effort, and the investment into securing those contracts. So
how do you do that? This doxed, which services, or you just have public?
Oh no. Yeah, so everyone knows it's like I'm John Belitsky. I'm a co-founder of Balcony DAO. Then there's Alex McGee, there's Dan Silverman, and there's Mike Reichel. Those are our four guys. Like, you could easily figure out where we are. Well, I'm in Barcelona right now. It's not hard to figure it out. I'm here. I can't run. I can't hide. Part of that is demonstrating commitment to this project, our confidence in this project, and people I think should know who they're dealing with when it's not just money, but there's also the factor of, do these people have the subject matter experience to do what they're promising? It's as opposed to some pixelated monkey on a website that's like, give me $100 million. I've got this crazy new idea, and I'm definitely the guy to do it. And it turns out,
people just pay money.
Right, and people just do it, and I mean, look, I kind of loved the Temple DAO project just because I just appreciated that this 15-year-old or 14, or some teenager had this idea and wanted to play with these ideas of finance, and he definitely doesn't have the experience to do it. But I invested in it because I was like, you know what, I actually want to support the idea of trying these things, and the cost of that is capital. That's the risk, right? Like, I'm risking capital on purpose with the hope that somebody finds a way to make capital formation and deployment more efficient and more equitable. That was the idea behind that, and that's what attracted me to it. But other people invest in projects where they think they're investing in somebody like you behind a project, and it's really somebody like, I don't know, a 12-year-old kid who ripped some contracts off of Open Zeppelin, and you could easily do this. It's not terribly complicated, and I think that's another facet of the security protocol. Like, there needs to be sort of like zero knowledge proofs of to understand who these people are behind the projects. It's another layer of security. Also, not what you do, but I think part and parcel to this general ecosystem.
It's not with what we do now, but what we see, how the audits are used by community. They just, they pursue that like green mark, just invest.
Yes.
But in fact, we do only audits of the code, but you need to do the due diligence of the project, of the team, of the technology, of their plans, rather than just, just smart contract audit. It's not that. And probably, so our audits now are like a trust mark. That's why it's really tough job to ensure that everything is in place, and we're thinking about expanding that, not to only like audits, but also probably KYC of the team and checking the validity of the project.
I think that's a great idea, and that's why I mentioned it. I think that the team needs to be KYC, because ultimately you can say the smart contract is a good smart contract that is not susceptible to obvious exploits, but if you have a bad actor, it doesn't really make a difference, right? Because all that money is eventually going to go into a Gnosis safe or some other wallet. And if you have non-KYC, non-AML'd, totally undoxed, completely anon founders, I mean, eventually someone's going to take everybody's money. I mean, they
Yeah.
do it all the time. They just rug people, but it'll just get worse until it gets stopped.
Yeah, we don't work with such teams.
Right.
So we only work with doxed teams and where we check that.
Yep.
And also, like every time it's a problem, for example, in crypto exchange hacks, and a lot of cases it was just insider or some, fired CTO.
Yep.
So no rocket science, no like difficult exploits, just people.
Just bad people.
Or just developers who hire, like someone hired their developers somewhere, I don't know, in other country,
Yep.
and it just disappeared with all the money gathered.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep. So one of the things that we do is, we'll go in and we will share our contracts, our code base, everything that we're building with a bunch of trusted, anonymous, non-networked external groups. Meaning,
Okay.
We'll share a smart contract with you, and we'll share a smart contract with him, and 3 or 4 other people, and we'll simultaneously have those reviewed before we deploy them, so that we get independent, uncorroborated reports back from people about what they perceive as the potential vulnerabilities of what we're doing. Now, it's still early, but we're already kind of building those security protocols in place now and creating that sort of like habit, that process, so that as we grow, we have $2 billion in the pipeline. It's a lot of money, and we're going to need an entire security sort of apparatus, not a vendor, but an apparatus, a protocol, and a way to audit the apparatus as well. It's become like this nested problem. It becomes like recursive.
Yeah, definitely. You need not one audit. It's better to have a couple of audits of like independent companies. Because, for example, some of our clients, they had, 12 audits
Yeah.
of different companies.
Yep.
And then they set up bug bounty, and then they have insurance. So it's like layer security.
Yep.
When you do first step with internal checks, then external checks, then bug bounty,
Yep.
then insurance.
Yep.
So you do everything possible to minimize risks. That's good
So
practice.
the insurance is another obvious thing. Like what you guys do at insurance are really sort of like the salt and sugar. Like this is how you actually cook the thing. That's the perfect pairing is what you guys do in insurance. These insurance companies generally will not insure unless a group like yours has
Yes.
done this audit. So the insurance companies will do their internal audit, but then they require an external audit before they actually insure and write a policy for those smart contracts. So do you have any advice for people in terms of picking insurance companies or any insurance companies that you would recommend?
Yeah, so we definitely there is like Nexus Mutual on the markets, and also guys like Insurance, for example, Sherlock and others
Yep.
who building.
We had Insurance on the show.
Where?
Insurance? We had Insurance on the show. But I like
Yeah,
that. Yep.
they are our partners. They're pretty good. We actually build
You
this.
guys are partners with Insurance?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, we had a safe space on the conference, and they're super cool guys. We've been working with them for a year or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely, they check external audits, they do internal due diligence, and only that after that they provide insurance.
Yeah, I think that was a throwback episode, Shill. Yeah, we had Dan on.
Yeah,
From Insurance. Good
yeah,
guy.
yeah. We
Like him.
actually just had a breakfast with him.
You had breakfast with Dan?
Yeah, I was there, team.
Yeah, I gave him some flat water, and that was it. Had a little conversation. Good guy. I mean, I like their product. They're very, very, very conservative. Like they're very conservative, which obviously is something that you look for in your insurance
Yeah,
company.
definitely.
So like they limit their capacity 2.5 times their total value locked, which is, I think, very conservative. And I guess so now I know that they work with you guys as well. So how does that work? Like, do they say, hey, somebody came to us and they didn't have an audit, will you please audit this? And they plug you in? Or do you go to the audit, say, hey, we've audited it, we recommend you, provide some insurance for
It
these
works
contracts?
both ways.
Works both ways.
Yeah, because everyone needs help in different aspects. So
Do you guys like commission share? Just out of curiosity.
yeah, partnership.
Yeah, cool. And is that partnership on a smart contract?
No.
Just asking. Just asking. Cool. All right. Well, I think we have a pretty good understanding of your group. I think we've disabused people a little bit of the ridiculous narratives around how these hacks are done and where the vulnerabilities lie. typically at the end of these shows, we like to have our guests shill us out, right? It gives you an opportunity to just straight shill your business. So go for it. If you want to just shill Hacken, go for it. There's the camera. You could just tell people why Hacken. Why is Hacken so great?
So, why Hacken is so great? We're so great because we help companies with our years of experience in finance and cybersecurity, and we do it complexly. We think for you how to mitigate different risks and help you to prevent hacks. So, in fact, we are kind of protective measures before something happened. And it's like proactive security that everyone from investors to projects should think about.
That was a security first hack. That's good. I like the security first hack. Also, we do this thing where every time we try to wrap up the show, we don't. And so you mentioned your team, and what I didn't get to ask you about was, your team is like old school, like Deloitte, like hardcore, like major institutional type of guys, right? Like everyone thinks of your business as like a whole bunch of like kids with hoods.
Hackers and black hoodies.
Yeah, and black hoodies. It's like, and nobody wears black hoodies in this space.
So,
but your team is not that. Your
Yes.
team is a whole bunch of people who are from like the institutional world, like Big Five accounting and stuff.
yeah, so our background, our CEO is from Deloitte for, 8 years there with financials, accounts and audits, but in other sphere. And our technical part is from security, obviously, for 10 and more years from banks, from infrastructure, telecoms.
Yep.
And we just combine this experience and get into crypto. So definitely we apply all the best practices, like from Big Four and from like bank level security to what we have now in Web3.
Yep. So your team, institutional players, they take this information, mix it all together in a pot, and it turns out that the Web3 space is a better place to employ those best practices than in these old school, Web2 or carbon-based models.
It's super slow and it's not that interesting, honestly. When in crypto, everything is like evolving so fast.
Yeah.
You can contribute and you can really help rather than just stuck in bureaucracy. We prefer to apply our knowledge where it's needed more.
I cannot believe how fast this space moves. It is so much fun. It's like you're grabbing a hold of a speeding train and you're like jumping onto the train from the platform. I mean,
even during this interview, I don't know how many things changed. I need to check
so
on Twitter.
much has changed.
Yeah, for sure.
So much has changed. During this interview, I actually gave up on Balcony DAO, and I started my own company, DAO.
Yeah.
And now I'm completely dedicated to hacking other people's websites tomorrow and
To protect them.
To protect them.
Yeah, in an ethical way,
In an
please.
ethical way.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and it's moving pretty fast. And I'm back to Balcony DAO. It keeps on changing. I've just decided that I'm better off at Balcony DAO. I like what I'm doing in the real world assets, crypto space. It just moves very quickly.
Yeah.
It moves very quickly.
That's true.
How long have you been in this fast moving business?
And crypto,
Yeah.
7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
2015. What happened to you in 2015 to get you into this business?
Yeah, I just had my first job in crypto.
Where would you work?
It's a developing company who was worked for Stellar and other businesses and do cryptography research for crypto business.
Wow.
So I'm from that time where crypto is for cryptography, not for cryptocurrency.
Well, listen, my first foray into cryptography was my father was a computer programmer at Dean Witter Reynolds
Wow.
in the World Trade Center in the 80s, which is just wild. He was also a cab driver. But my dad would come home from work. My dad was a workaholic. He's still alive. My dad is a workaholic. He's 85 years old. He just sits up all night doing math problems. This guy's weird. But he would come home and he'd be like, listen, I've got this problem. I work all day. I'm on my computer, but I don't leave the office. So I have personal stuff on the computer, and I need a way to cryptographically encode this data. And so when I was like a child, we would play with cryptographic techniques so that his entire computer terminal would be totally cryptographically encoded the second he got up and walked away from his desk. And back then, that data wasn't available. And what I tell people who are like getting into your business now is like, we didn't have a random integer. We didn't have like a package on Python where you just like import random integer and then you're just like, oh, I'm gonna use this random number, and that's like the foundational strata, the foundational structure of cryptography is being able to pull a random number to actually cryptographically encrypt something. So we had to make the random integer programs first. That was the first thing that we had to do.
Oh wow.
And it was wild because it's like I don't think I was probably like 6, 7 years old, and my father was like, how do you pick a random number? And I'm like, how do you pick a random number? Like, how do you teach a computer to pick a random number? We take it for granted.
Yeah.
No one has to solve these problems anymore. They're already solved.
Yeah, everything is like open source. You can use it, like libraries, everything is public. Just go for it. Just do something great.
Libraries blow my mind. First of all, that people make the libraries and then just give them to you. Secondly, that other people come back and they like actually like curate and they make sure those libraries are updated. I mean, like these libraries, like these books are from like the year of the flood. Like these books are like useless to you and no one's updating that crap anymore. But the libraries in our space are robust. They're up to the minute. They're usable. Like they're scalable. Like, and people don't realize that's why this space moves so fast.
Yeah.
Because we're never starting with what my dad did in 1986. We're starting with the last guy updated 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, that's true. And even you can generate your token or your another DeFi project in a minute.
In minutes.
Yeah.
In minutes.
Pre-audited.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, the Open Zeppelin contracts are audited, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I mean that we have some partnership with different companies where they generate these tokens and it's already audited because it's some template one and they just change basic stuff and they already receive code, audit, and you can even build a website for that like in minutes.
That's the other thing that's going to happen, right? In the future, what we'll find is, and by the future, I mean like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, maybe, everything that's already been built, every single DeFi product, every bridge, every protocol, every smart contract that's passed through these audits, which more and more and more of these are going to pass through them, all of those open source, openly available, on the blockchain, publicly available contracts are going to be available for you to just grab and use, and they're going to be audited. So the future of the crypto space is exponentially more secure. Like we will get more and more secure, at least on what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Some new stuff will come around and that will require audit and that will require that we work on it. But like those libraries, we now have libraries of contracts that are being developed like Open Zeppelin. Those are audited contracts. You could take them, you could use them, and they're secure. You could use those with confidence, and that's going to grow. So I guess the business dev question would be, if I was investing in Hacken, and I'm not, I don't think I am, but if I was investing, do you guys have a token?
Yeah.
Holy shit, so Web3. So if I buy your tokens, right, so I'm ostensibly invested in Hacken, how does that trajectory translate to revenue for you? As things get more secure through time from your efforts, are you cannibalizing future profits?
So definitely it's a great question because you're right that it's getting easier to build a project, but what we see is that technologies is getting more mature and we can see more layer one solutions. And it's definitely some custom-made stuff that need to be audited from the beginning. There is some initiatives where you can build your another layer one just that easy, but still, layer one is something very difficult to audit and to develop. So, pretty sure we would have a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, like Avalanche, we're at Avalanche right now. So Avalanche has, what is it, their subnet where you could basically make your own chain, right? So it's like you're ostensibly making your own L1. So Balcony DAO can say like, we have a unique set of requirements. We can't do it on Avalanche, or we want to add certain metadata information, which we do. We put all the metadata from real world assets on the chain. We can make a Balcony subnet, right, which is an L1, but now we have the additional security onus of securing that L1, right? And so you guys would come in. Do you think that's the future where individual organizations, at one point people thought it was going to be, they had private blockchains, which is the antithesis of what we're trying to build. Now there's people like you who are suggesting maybe the future is we just make a whole bunch of these sort of like customized L1s that live within a framework like Avalanche, and Avalanche just becomes a framework. Do you think that's the future where people are going to move towards their own L1s in general? We're just going to have a multi-chain diaspora of people building their own customized chains?
I guess it would be time by time. So definitely first what we have now multi-chain, and then probably some chains would disappear and we still can generate new ones. Let's see how it evolves, but definitely at step-by-step approach. Definitely not it's going to take in one month, year, I don't know.
Right.
But we see that the technologies is getting more mature and more difficult with these cross chains and bridges and all that.
What the hell's up with the cross chains? Are cross chains going to die? Are they over? I mean, because like I get like tremendous anxiety thinking about moving capital across these bridges. I mean, they are so vulnerable.
And they are so centralized.
They're so centralized. I mean, they put all the money in a room, and they're like, "Don't worry about it, guys. We close the windows." I'm like, "There's doors. There's like fire exits. Like there's like you can punch through the sheetrock." I mean, like, what are you talking about? These aren't vaults. They're very vulnerable.
Yeah, and the bridge owners doing everything possible to minimize that. They doing not only one audit, so they are trying to approach this issue, but definitely when it's in one place.
Are you guys auditing the bridges?
Yeah.
What bridges have you audited? You can't say?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you say what the least secure bridge is that you know of?
I won't do this.
Oh, God. I just want to know where my money's going. It's like when I
Do
say
your own research.
Just got DOIR. DYOR Shill.
DYOR.
Yeah. Like, everybody has to do their own research, but here's the thing. I don't know that I'm competent enough to do my own research on the vulnerabilities of a bridge. Or if I am competent enough, I don't know that I have the time because, again, I'm only dedicating an hour and a half to Dow tomorrow on the train.
Yeah.
I don't really have an expansive calendar where I can go and do all these things, you know? So it would be nice, again, to have the trusted mark, like, oh, this bridge is
Yeah,
trusted.
definitely. Someone needs to take this responsibility.
And maybe that person should be you. And maybe this is a perfect place for us to end this episode. Maybe
Definitely.
we end this episode by calling out you and asking, what are you doing to make bridges more secure? Maybe you need to take some accountability for other people's products. And maybe that's what you should be doing. Do your own bug bounty for other bridges. DYOBFOB. That's what really should be happening. DYFOB. That's what needs to happen. All right, listen. I'm gonna let you go now. I think we've done enough here today for our industry, for Ukraine. Like we've done our job. We can go have beers now. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for giving us an insight into what you guys do. Thank you for giving me some ideas for Balcony DAO, which we're definitely going to use, and we'll continue the conversation. Definitely have your biz dev team circle back and say, hey, about that money you want to pay us to do these audits. If you do want to do that, and do some research on what we're doing as well, and see how you think you could help Balcony DAO, and let people know, I guess, one last time how they can follow you and how they can follow Hacken.
Yeah, just go hacken.io and see what we're building and how you can help. Thank you. Thank you a lot for having me here. It was a pleasure to have this interesting conversation. So many good ideas.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Here's your bill.
Take it easy. Guys, for this episode of Balcony and Shill, I am John Belitsky. This is Jane with Hacken.io, and we are out of here. Peace, guys.